Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
They have the power. We have the numbers now. It's all just a constant illusion of control. They break us like horses.
And they can tell us we're crazy, and we can say, well, you haven't seen anything yet.
Everything you knew was a goddamn lie. Would you up and explode like it's the 4th of July? Possessed by perfection in this land, if you're awake, you're the enemy. Every day a new deception. Pick your scene and take direction. And on a search to connect. But I don't wear a mask and I have no regret. Down on your knees, you don't look so tall. Open your eyes and the empire falls.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today is Tuesday, I think. Yeah, probably. And I am recording from up north, Northern Ontario. I am at the lake house. I spent all of October here last year. I then had to roll into the wonderful city of Ottawa, Canada's national capital, and spent all of November there last year. And to me, it blows me away that was a year ago. It's almost unfounded that all this time has gone by. It's like, reminds me of that Christmas song. Another year's over and look what you've done. Look at me singing for you guys. That's great. It's funny, you know, where do you go? What do you do? How do you accomplish what you accomplish? You know, what rules do we put in place for ourselves? How do we navigate? Now, granted, the actual world we live in is completely off its rails. I did a post, an Instagram survey. I got really good response from it. And the three questions were, or the question was, you know, in your country, is the news reporting the news, pushing a narrative, or have you just simply turned the TV off? And a lot of people replied to it. And there wasn't a single person that said reporting the news. So we've got a ton of people just not even paying attention. Like it's there, it's in the background, it's running, it's just irrelevant. What blows me away about that is the machine in which we live keeps plodding on. And the more we're conscious of it, the more we see it, the more we understand it. Not that we understand it. We'll never understand it, I don't think. But the more that we're privy to it and aware of it, the weirder it seems, just the weirder it is. I remember like the original quote unquote waking up and all that fun stuff. And you're just like, you think you're crazy. There's no other way to put it. You think you're crazy and you're like, how could this possibly be? And then when you talk to anybody you knew or know, they call you crazy. And then you have to ask yourself, why am I not able to articulate what I'm seeing? And how can I be the only one that's seeing it? But man, so the poll was well responded to, and not a soul said that they still believe that the news is reporting it. It reminded me of my cell phone. My cell phone has I guess, robo-dialers calling it, like, my line. So there's robots calling my phone, and my phone has a program in place to block the robots. So we got auto dialers dialing blocked bot calls. I don't get it. Why are the bots why are the bots overrun? Why are the bots calling and blocking? Who's running the show is my real big question. If everything's intertwined, if everything's interconnected, who's running the show? The show is falling apart. It's collapsing. It's collapsing in on itself. It's collapsing around itself. It's not really making any sense. And I sit back and I watch this, and there was a time where I would have lost my mind. Gonna go crazy. Because people didn't understand me, because this, because that. But then you come to a point in the whole thing that you just kind of realize it's not up for anyone to understand you. It's 100% up for you to understand yourself. And the only way you can really do that is to literally experience the absurdity of what's going on. And there's no answer to it. There's no truthful answer to it. I mean, when I'm not talking about it just being the bots. I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about that gut feeling you have. I'm talking about that sense, that growing sense inside you that this shit is just so off and so peculiar and so not necessarily what we signed up for. But then again, you think back to even before any of us were moderately aware of this, and the life that we were living was part of the programming. It was that very life that we then needed to break free from. And there's an old saying that life up until 40 is a trial run, and everything after that is real living. I really like that, because we do so much while we're asleep, and we set these programs only for us to wake up from them. Life now is a completely different game. I mean, I look at these kids, and I still understand that the generational part that's taking place, like going out, getting drunk, and all sort of stuff, and living for the weekend and all that. I don't think you could pay me enough to go back and be a 21-year-old kid again. And at 21, 22, 23, like you think you've got the world figured out. Boy, do I've got a shocking surprise for you. You couldn't pay me to go back to that. So here I sit with the world collapsing all around me. And then I think to myself, is it up to me? Am I seeing this right? Am I supposed to change myself inside the world? Am I supposed to change my world? And honestly, I think that the best thing I can do is sit back and observe. I'm watching all the crisis actors do their things all over the news. I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm trying my best to be aware. But again, I'm up north. I'm not this past 2-3 weeks I've been virtually unplugged. Not completely unplugged because I still have to work. But removed, untapped, working on my photography, playing with this, playing with that, trying this, trying that, hugging trees, getting a lot of work outside done. And that, that feels right. It really feels right in comparison to what's going on. And then you sort of look back and you dabble and you're like, oh, this is still a weird thing. And how long has the world been like this? How long has the world truly been like this? Has it always been like this and I'm only paying attention to it now? I'm only seeing it now? Or has it ramped up? Now, here's the thing. There are a million answers to that question. And the truth is, every single person that perceives everything that they're perceiving is seeing a very unique aspect of it. You're seeing everything from your eyes. That's how every single person that's witnessing anything can see the exact same thing, yet see it completely different. This is where the division comes from. All of us are divided because the very thing that we're observing is telling us to be divided. And it's funny to think that, once you sort of understand that all manipulation is divisional manipulation, there's a lot of running congruent themes that take place and that go on. So, I mean, I've been able to sort of revamp what I'm doing, what my approach is, what our team is doing. We've got a few things on the go up here, so I've been really spending a lot of time focusing in on that and having a lot of fun with that. I do apologize for not knocking out a few podcasts while I've been up here. I think it's been a week, 2 weeks. I'm not even sure, but I love podcasting. and it's been weird for me not to do it. I'll tell you, the first week I was up here, I forgot. I brought everything that I needed to bring just to make sure that I could podcast with good quality sound mobily. But I forgot my stand. I forgot the mic stand for the MV7. And I tried to record holding the microphone, and I just couldn't do it. I was so utterly distracted by what my hands were doing. It was a really funny experience. Considering where we started, I started recording these podcasts just simply into my cell phone, and sort of how far we've come, and how and the caliber and quality that I want to put out doesn't warrant that anymore. And I don't have, there's some really good microphones too. And I'm not saying don't record from your cell phone. I'm saying 100% record, get your message out there. But I am saying that there are some really neat mics for the cell phones, for the Apple, that don't exist for Android. And they knock out some really solid sound. It would be amazing to just sort of chill back and get pro quality sound, just by recording into your phone. Doesn't always work. And a lot of times too, if the message is great, you don't need to necessarily worry too much about the sound unless you're, sounding like an absolute idiot, talking through a tin can. And that happens too. This has been a phenomenal week, though, for me to recharge. So last year, I also took some time away and was able to recharge. You come back almost like it's a new chapter or a new season. You're reinvigorated. You've got a lot of new ideas. You fought your demons. You sort of took a breather, took a beat, and you really sort of checked in with yourself. A lot of you have been reaching out to me as well on questions, topics, this, that, and the other thing. So much so that I have actually opened up 2 more slots. We've got 2 more coaching slots available. And it gave me an idea that maybe I can change that up as well too. I really want to get into group coaching. We're going to start that. We have sort of started taking that. We haven't taken any money. So anyone if you're already in the kitty, know that we haven't taken money from anybody yet. We haven't started that yet, but you will be contacted. But for the most part, the idea that we could possibly reach some more people and help with more anxiety, more depression, while having a lot of fun, that's really big. That's big on our list of wants. So I've put together a form for you guys to fill out. If you're interested in coaching, a simple form, simply go over to coachingwithtmma.com and fill out the form. Somebody will get back to you. More than likely me. I personally would like to reply to every single person that does send in the form. This is kind of something that I really want to connect with you guys a little bit more. I want to be able to help, even if it's, something small. But if you want coaching, if you've thought about coaching, if you have any inkling towards sort of unlocking your true potential, give us a call. That whole true potential thing does make me laugh. We're more of a massive growth, massive understanding, massive comprehension, shake the cobwebs, unload the anxiety, self-belief, that kind of stuff. And then the technical side, we know how to do all that stuff too. If you're looking at launching a podcast, by God, give us a call. If you want to, if you just feel that there's more, and if you feel that you've connected with me, with myself, with this podcast, with the Instagram over the past little while, connect. Hit us up. coachingwithtmma.com. It's just a simple form. We definitely feel that there's more that we can offer. We are offering a lot. We are doing sort of everything that we can, but it's a shift. Something's happening. Something in the ethos is happening right now. Bots are fighting bots, and we want to help everybody. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, like I've said, and I've said that a lot on this show. A lot's going on around the world. More and more and more, we're being faced with. I'm hearing personal stories, and we're being faced with what seems to be bigger challenges. So, like, if you're in your life right now and you're experiencing larger challenges than you're normally used to, or things are just a little bit off or a little bit askew, it's the running thing. It's a congruent theme with whatever's happening in this simulation, in this game that we're all playing. I'm just blown away by how, what's the term? Obvious it is when you have a lot of people talking to you about sort of their issues and this, that, and the other thing. You hear a lot of running themes, and there's no possible way that any of these people are interconnected or could be possibly having the same experience, yet they are. Yet we are. So there's something in the ethos right now, and there's something more to it. And I'll tell you this, I'm digging feverishly into finding out more and more and more about where we could possibly be. Literally, like physically where we possibly are. What the story is with where we are, what the story is with what we're doing. What we're supposed to be doing, what we're supposed to be accomplishing. And I know that this is a mystery. I mean, there's a high likelihood that I'm a single entity in this game experience reality, talking to myself, and everything everywhere is a bot, and maybe I'm a bot. I don't know. Would I even know? Would I even know if I was artificial intelligence? Because I'll tell you, I don't think artificial intelligence, if it exists the way they say it exists, would refer to itself as artificial intelligence. I don't know. There's a lot of questions I have with regards to that. It's episode 222. Every single episode that I put out there, I feel like we're just getting started. I feel like there's so much more to give, and I feel like there's a huge change in the air. Actually, I don't feel like there is. I know there is. I know there is, and I know you guys have felt it. And so again, we are offering that up. I'll put that in the liner notes as well. It's just coachingwithtmma.com. Fill out that form. Connect with us. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be recording shortly. I want to do another episode about your past, about that sort of thing. I love the idea of connecting with your past. Rewriting your story in your own mind, understanding yourself a little bit better, because there are so many of us, so many of us that hold ourselves accountable to today's standards of previous actions. How many times have you said something you're like, oh, I should never have said that. They're judging me. They're thinking of me because I said that, this, that, and the other thing. Or how many times have you done something that was dumb, but you haven't thought too much about it, and then you're looking at it now with today's eyes. It is okay to rewrite your past with new knowledge. It's bad to rewrite your past with cancel culture knowledge. And that is something that's popped up a few times today too. Like, I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did that. I was reading an article with Shawn Michaels from wrestling. And he put it pretty clear. He's like, drinking and drugs is one hell of a thing. And, you don't understand it. You don't see it when you're in the throes of it. And this applies also to not drinking and drugs. But when you're living in the moment, a moment that's been built up over the course of your life, everything that you've ever done leads to this moment. And you find yourself sort of in a pattern of repetition, this, that, and the other thing. You find yourself in a spot and your life has been there. And Shawn Michaels goes to say that, I could never do now what I did back then. What he was actually referring to was the Montreal Screwjob, which was a moment in time where in wrestling in front of a massive stage, they screwed Bret Hart out of the championship. I'm not going to turn this into a fanboy show, but I am going to say, in 1998, Shawn Michaels laughed when he did it. Shawn Michaels now, 30 years later, well, more like 24 years later, he says, I don't even associate with the person I was back then. And this is something that a lot of people are unwilling to do. And it deserves it deserves an entire episode. And that's forgive yourself. Understanding that, your pain and everything that you've caused and anything that you may be holding on to with regards to your past, it happened because it needed to happen. And that you're upset about it now, or even then, or have been holding on to something, is the very thing that changed you. Because there are a million things that we've done in our past that are horrible and that we're oblivious to them because they didn't impact our lives. And we can't even think of what they are. But there's that one thing. We can all think of a terrible thing that we did to somebody or a terrible thing that was done to us. You do have the ability in your life to rewrite that. It is paramount that you allow yourself forgiveness when deciding that you want to move forward with a lot of things. There's so much that goes into how you talk to yourself and how you treat yourself that will create the version of you that you want to become. And the more that this simulation that we're in falls apart, the more I realize all of the things that we've been through, the character defining things, both great and terrible, the highlight reel, if you will, of your life, and the low light reel, the things we remember, because 95% of everything that we're doing is monotonous. It's things that just in and out of the mind, and they don't think anything of it afterwards. But the things that you do remember are the things that allow you to be the person that you currently are now. And if you're insecure, or if you feel inadequate, if you have anxiety and depression based on yourself and based on your actions, understand that you've been tricked into believing that. Understand that it is okay to forgive yourself. It is okay to be free. It is okay to forgive other people that may have wronged you. Holding on to that is one of those things, drinking poison and expecting your enemy to feel pain is a brutal thing. So you can forgive people and you can forgive yourself. You never have to connect with those people again, and you learned your lesson, and you learned what not to do and how not to act and how not to be. And that's on the bad note. And all the good things that you have, again, our lives don't necessarily let us think of the good things because that's not part of the simulation. But all of the good things that you have are sitting there waiting for you to appreciate them. If you have to take a minute, if you have to take a beat, if you have to walk the block, make sure you come back to yourself and make sure you understand and comprehend to yourself and for yourself that you're the one playing this game, and that this game will bend to you when you need it to. And that this game has also been helping you a lot along the way, creating the version of you that you signed on to be. Where we are, I have no idea. What we're doing, all I can really say is that what we're doing is not what they wanted us to do or what we started out doing. We had to live through the first half of our lives, the first chunk of our lives, to understand and comprehend so much. And everything that we now comprehend and understood from every last ounce of our experience can be rewritten. You are not a prisoner to who you think you're supposed to be. You are not a prisoner to your past. You are not a prisoner to the system, even though that system is trying to make you a prisoner to it. It's trying to make you feel a certain way. Everything that's going on right now is peculiar, but it's eye-opening. When you can correlate certain truths to your, like when you look at the news and you're like, these motherfuckers have been brainwashing us to feel like shit. And then you ask yourself why you feel like shit after you've eaten the shitty food that they've promoted and done the shitty things that they've told you to do. Without even realizing it, you're like, no, I'm not influenced. I can't be influenced. I'm just watching television. It's in the news. It's in the shows we watch. It's in how the characters on the television act. It's in the media. It's in the movies. It's in everything that we ever could possibly influence or have influence on us. Everything that we're taking in is creating how we feel about ourselves. Everything. And all of it is intentional. And that's creepy. Creepy, truthful, and weird. And it's all indicative of how you choose to talk to yourself based on your experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like that was a solid intro, but I mean, I've got hours that I can talk about in detail on how we can change what we're doing with how we view ourselves, how we view the world around us. There are so many pieces of information out there that need to be discussed, and there are so many people that are just too hesitant to ask the questions. So again, I implore you, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever thought about coaching, if you ever just wanted to hear my voice, talk to you, coachingwithtmma.com. I rarely push this stuff out there. I rarely even have openings. We don't talk about it because it's unnecessary. But right now, we had a client switch days. She went from Tuesday to Monday. I've never worked with clients on a Monday. But because she needed Monday, I figured we're going to put 2 more people after her. So I'm looking for 2. I'm looking for 2 clients to come on board, to change their lives, to get rid of the anxiety, get rid of the depression, start a business, launch a podcast, forever move forward their movement. Ladies and gentlemen, if that sounds like you, coachingwithtmma.com, go fill out the form. And until then, we all must remember the infamous words of Red Green. Keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.